The day Earth declared war on the stars. Part 1. The morning sun rose over the quiet expanse of Earth's eastern seaboard, unaware that this was the last peaceful sunrise for humanity. The world had grown used to the quiet, the calm, but it would not last. Across continents, a new kind of tension simmered in the air, one that had been brewing for decades, if not longer. Humanity had always been a curious species, driven by an insatiable thirst to reach the stars, but the stars had not always responded in kind. The first contact was subtle, almost imperceptible. It was a message, a signal from the farthest reaches of space, seemingly harmless at first, but its implications were profound. The message had been intercepted, decoded, and studied with the utmost caution. At first, it seemed like nothing more than a simple greeting, a token of acknowledgement from a distant civilization. The translation revealed something shocking, though, a warning. The alien message was clear: humanity had made its mark in the universe. The Earth's inhabitants had advanced to a point where their existence could no longer be ignored. They had developed the technology to reach the stars, to travel beyond their home planet. But the warning was not one of peace or celebration. It was a declaration, cold and unemotional, that humanity's actions were being watched. The message made it clear that Earth's newfound ability to explore space had caught the attention of a coalition of species, all of whom had a vested interest in keeping certain galactic boundaries intact. The universe was vast, and it had rules humanity had unknowingly violated. For years, Earth had been reaching into the stars, sending probes, satellites, and manned missions to explore the cosmos. They had even attempted to establish contact with other species, but no response had ever come. Some believed the silence was due to the vast distances, others thought it was a simple case of galactic indifference. What they hadn't accounted for was that the silence wasn't indifference at all, it was a warning. Humanity was not alone in the universe, and their attempts to make their mark had not gone unnoticed. The Galactic Coalition, a loose alliance of alien races that spanned thousands of light years, had been watching Earth for centuries. They had allowed humanity to grow, to advance, to explore, but only up to a point. Now, it seemed, that point had been reached. The first response from the stars came not in the form of an attack, but a challenge. A fleet of alien ships, sleek and terrifying in their design, appeared in orbit around Earth. No communication was sent. No words exchanged. They simply hovered, their massive presence enough to send waves of fear across the planet. The sight was overwhelming, ships that could easily have wiped Earth off the map without a single shot being fired, yet they did nothing. Their presence alone was enough to send a clear message: humanity's place in the universe was under review, and they had crossed a line. Governments scrambled to respond. Nations called emergency meetings, military forces went on high alert, and scientists worked frantically to decipher what these ships were, what they wanted, and whether humanity had any hope of survival. The leaders of Earth had never expected this, no one had. There had been talk of potential threats, whispers of the vast dangers that lurked beyond the stars, but no one had imagined it would come to this so soon. Despite the fear, something else began to stir within humanity. A fire was ignited, one that could not be easily extinguished. The idea of submission was unthinkable. Earth had been a beacon of resilience, of survival, of perseverance. The idea that they would bow to some distant alien overlords was unacceptable. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity had a way of rising to the occasion, of standing firm in the face of adversity. Leaders, military commanders, and civilians alike began to rally around the idea of resistance. It didn't matter that the aliens outclassed them technologically. It didn't matter that they were surrounded by forces they couldn't hope to defeat. Humanity had something the stars did not understand: an unyielding will, a fierce determination to survive and to protect their own. The very notion that Earth would simply roll over and accept defeat was anathema to everything humanity stood for. As the days passed, the tension only grew. Nations united, not out of fear, but out of necessity. Earth had always been divided, but now, for the first time, humanity was focused on a single goal: survival. They would not let the stars dictate their fate. They would fight. And so, with the threat hanging over them like an executioner's axe, humanity began to prepare for the unimaginable. They began to build weapons they never thought they would need, to craft technology they had only dreamed of. The battle for Earth had not yet begun, but humanity was determined to make sure it would be a fight for the ages, a fight that would echo across the universe. Part 2. The days that followed Earth's first confrontation with the stars were a whirlwind of fear, hope, and determination. Across the globe, every nation, from the smallest island to the largest superpower, began to pool resources. The age-old divisions of politics, borders, and ideologies quickly became irrelevant in the face of the looming threat. Governments, once fiercely competitive, now found themselves working side by side, united under the banner of survival. Humanity had always fought among itself, but when faced with a force greater than any single nation, unity became their only hope. In the heart of Earth's military command centers, the most brilliant minds from every corner of the planet gathered. The aliens had made no attempt to communicate further, yet their message had been loud and clear. Earth was no longer simply a place of history and culture, it was a battleground. The great question was no longer, what do we do, but how do we fight? And despite all the fear that had gripped humanity, there was a pervasive sense of resolve, a sense that they were not going down without a fight. The first course of action was to study the alien ships. The sleek, dark vessels remained in orbit above Earth, their immense size dwarfing anything humanity had ever built. At first, Earth's scientists believed the ships were invulnerable, unbreachable, and beyond the understanding of human technology. But as they pored over the data, something began to emerge, a faint crack in the seemingly impenetrable exterior of the ships. One scientist, Dr. Helena Ward, a leading expert in quantum mechanics, theorized that these ships, though technologically advanced, were not invincible. She noted an unusual energy signature emanating from the hull of the largest ship. It was faint, but it was there, a flicker in the otherwise perfect silence of space. The alien ships were not immune to Earth's technology, they just had never been tested by it. Dr. Ward's theory sparked a wave of excitement across Earth's scientific community. What if there was a way to reverse engineer the alien technology? What if Earth's weapons, old and new, could be adapted to penetrate the alien ship's defenses? The idea of a counteroffensive, once dismissed as impossible, began to take shape. Meanwhile, Earth's military forces began to mobilize. Armies, navies, and air forces, normally divided by national allegiances, came together, training for the impossible. The sheer scale of the operation was unlike anything humanity had ever attempted before. The most advanced weaponry was put into production. Every country on Earth worked tirelessly to develop new technologies, relying not just on conventional weapons, but on cutting-edge energy-based technologies, electromagnetic pulses, and even experimental AI-driven weapons. As these preparations unfolded, humanity began to see the first signs of resistance. Small, uncoordinated protests sprang up in various parts of the world. Some argued that Earth's survival was too uncertain to risk everything on a war with a superior alien race. Others called for diplomacy, for more attempts at peaceful dialogue. The divide between those who believed in peace and those who believed in fighting was sharp and growing. But the majority, fueled by the defiance born from the aliens' silent threat, rallied behind the cause. The collective belief that Earth could withstand this cosmic invasion gained strength. The war, it seemed, had already begun, but it was a war that no one could have foreseen. Humans had lived through countless battles, but a fight against the stars? This was something new entirely. In the weeks that followed, humanity began to receive what could be interpreted as a challenge, a message that came not from the alien ships themselves, but from an unexpected source. A single transmission, brief but unmistakable, came through Earth's deep space communication arrays. It wasn't a declaration of war. It wasn't an insult or threat. It was a simple, haunting question. Do you really think you can fight the stars? The message lingered in the air, its implications both terrifying and empowering. It was not a threat to be taken lightly, but a challenge to humanity's very core. The aliens did not view Earth as a conquerable world, but as a curious anomaly, a species that had reached the stars without understanding their true place in the universe. And yet, that very challenge set the tone for the war to come. Dr. Ward, ever the skeptic, spoke up at a gathering of Earth's military leaders. This is no ordinary enemy. They are not interested in negotiations. They are testing us. Pushing us to see if we will stand our ground or fall. Her words were harsh but necessary. She reminded the leaders that the stakes were not simply survival but the very identity of humanity. Earth had been a small, quiet world on the fringes of the galaxy, but now, it was a symbol of something more, defiance. As humanity took its first steps into this war against the stars, the gravity of the situation began to settle in. There would be no retreat, no turning back. Every decision would count. The galaxy's forces, vast and powerful, were not merciful, but neither was humanity. They had something that could not be easily replicated, the will to fight, to survive, and to make their mark on the stars. And now, the fight had truly begun. Part 3. The days turned into weeks, and the preparations for Earth's defense reached fever pitch. The world had never seen such a coordinated effort. Nations that once squabbled over borders and ideologies now found common cause in the face of an existential threat. Every corner of Earth was transformed into a military operation center. Cities once known for their peaceful beauty were now transformed into hubs of technological warfare, their skylines dotted with the smoke of factories churning out weaponry, armor, and starships. Humanity had always been a force to be reckoned with, but now, their survival hinged on their ability to adapt to the stars' challenge. While the Earth's governments threw their resources into their collective defense, a different type of tension brewed among humanity. The alien ships above Earth remained still, their vast, dark forms casting an oppressive shadow over the planet. No communication had been received from the invaders since their silent warning, but their presence was a constant reminder that time was running out. Many humans began to question what they were truly up against. Some feared they were too small, too weak, to face the overwhelming power of the stars. Others, emboldened by the unity forged under the looming threat, believed that this was the moment to show the universe what Earth was made of. Amid the turmoil, a young military strategist named Captain Marcus Hale became the unlikely hero of Earth's resistance. With an unmatched understanding of tactics, Hale had risen through the ranks of Earth's military at an astonishing pace. His ability to think outside the box, coupled with his unshakable resolve, had made him the perfect leader for Earth's counteroffensive. It was Hale who had developed the first true strategy to engage the alien forces, and his plan was risky, perhaps even insane. But it was the only hope humanity had. His strategy was based on the assumption that the alien ships, despite their terrifying appearance, were not invulnerable. He theorized that their advanced technology had blind spots, weaknesses that humanity could exploit. Hale had seen evidence in the alien energy signatures that suggested the ships had an unpredictable energy field, a vulnerability that, if exploited, could disable their massive shields long enough to strike at the heart of the fleet. But for the plan to work, Earth needed a weapon capable of piercing the alien defense. Humanity had only one hope of developing such a weapon: the extraction of alien technology. Dr. Helena Ward, the quantum physicist who had first discovered the faint energy signature from the ships, had become the linchpin of this operation. Working tirelessly alongside Earth's best engineers, she had developed a prototype weapon, a beam capable of disrupting the alien ship's energy fields. The weapon, while still in its infancy, was humanity's best shot at breaking the deadlock. As the world watched in anticipation, the weapon was ready for its first trial. A single shot would be fired at a mock alien target, an unmanned satellite designed to replicate the appearance of the alien ships. The entire planet held its breath as the countdown began. If the shot succeeded, it would mark a turning point in humanity's fight for survival. If it failed, it would be a sign that the gap between human and alien technology was too wide to bridge. The shot was fired. For a moment, nothing happened. The world held its collective breath, waiting for a sign. And then, a brilliant flash of light erupted from Earth's defense satellites, and the mock alien ship shattered in a burst of energy. The weapon worked. The theory was correct. The alien shields were vulnerable to disruption, and humanity had the means to fight back. The success of the weapon sent shockwaves through Earth's military and civilian populations. For the first time, humanity had something to truly fight with. But the victory was bittersweet. The aliens had already begun to make their move. The alien fleet had been silent, observing from above, but now, it moved. The massive ships began to descend toward Earth in a display of overwhelming power. The world's military forces scrambled to respond, sending ships and troops into the sky to engage in battle. But they were outmatched. Earth's new weapon was powerful, but it was still in its infancy, and the alien fleet had more ships, more firepower, and more experience than humanity could ever hope to match. Despite the overwhelming odds, Captain Hale and Dr. Ward were not deterred. The successful test of the weapon had proven that Earth was not powerless. Hale's tactics, paired with the new weapon, gave humanity a fighting chance. The battle had only just begun, but Earth's resolve had hardened. The world's leaders knew that there would be no easy victory. But they also knew that Earth was no longer simply a small blue planet in the universe. It was a force to be reckoned with, and it was ready to prove itself to the stars. As the first wave of alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere, the sky turned dark with their looming presence. But beneath that darkness, humanity stood united, ready to defend their home. It wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about proving to the universe that Earth, for all its flaws, was a force that would not be easily defeated. The stars had declared their challenge, but Earth was ready to fight back. The war for the fate of humanity had begun in earnest, and the world would never be the same again. Part 4. The skies above Earth were a battlefield, a chaotic, violent theater of war that humanity had never before imagined. As the alien fleet descended, their ships glided effortlessly through the atmosphere, their sleek, dark forms blotting out the sun. For a brief moment, it felt as though time had slowed, the air growing heavy with anticipation. Earth's forces scrambled to respond, deploying everything they had into the air, ready to confront the might of the stars. But the alien ships were no mere invaders, they were a precision-engineered force, their tactics and firepower far beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. The first clash came just outside Earth's orbit, where the alien fleet unleashed a barrage of energy weapons that struck with the power of 1,000 storms. Humanity's newly developed weapons, while promising, were still in their early stages. The prototype energy disruptors worked, but they lacked the range and potency to take down the alien ships before they retaliated. Earth's fighters, although well-equipped, were outclassed by the alien ship's speed and maneuverability. For every alien vessel destroyed, 10 more seemed to appear. Captain Marcus Hale stood at the front of Earth's command center, his eyes scanning the holographic battlefield. The alien ships were relentless, advancing as though they had no fear, no hesitation. Their tactics were methodical, surgical. They weren't just attacking, they were testing humanity, pushing them to their limits. Hale's mind raced as he tried to predict their next move. The success of the energy disruptor had given them a small victory, but it was clear that humanity's forces were severely outnumbered and outmatched. If the aliens didn't want to destroy Earth, then they wanted to crush its spirit, to show humanity that they were nothing in the face of the galaxy's might. But there was a fire in Hale's chest. He refused to back down, refused to let the Earth fall under alien rule without a fight. His voice rang out over the communication system, cutting through the noise of the battle. We are not backing down. We will fight for every inch of this planet. Give them everything we've got. Across Earth, from military bases to civilian stations, the rallying cry was heard. Humanity's will to survive was stronger than ever. The resistance, though outmatched, fought with a ferocity born of desperation. Fighter jets zoomed through the sky, launching missiles and energy beams at the alien ships. Though many were shot down before they could get close, some managed to land devastating blows on the invaders, disabling a few of their vessels. Each victory was hard-earned, but each victory, no matter how small, fueled humanity's resolve. Back on Earth's surface, the world watched the skies with bated breath. Cities were evacuated, populations moved into underground bunkers, and yet, hope was not lost. Humanity's ingenuity, its spirit, and its refusal to give up in the face of overwhelming odds were becoming clear. The people of Earth were no longer afraid of the stars, they were fighting back, and in doing so, they were creating something new. They were creating a legend. Dr. Helena Ward and her team of engineers worked tirelessly in the lab, refining the energy disruptors. They had learned from the first battle, found weaknesses in the alien ship's shields that they hadn't noticed before. They were still underpowered, still a far cry from being able to turn the tide of the war, but they were improving. Dr. Ward was obsessed with finding a way to make the disruptors more powerful, to enhance their frequency and target multiple ships at once. But even as the weaponry evolved, the question remained, could Earth truly stand against a force that had watched from the stars for so long? Could humanity, so young in the galactic scale, truly carve a place for itself in a universe that had long since grown indifferent? As the war waged on, another unexpected development occurred. A rogue faction of alien ships, smaller and far more agile than the bulk of the fleet, broke away and began to act independently. These ships did not seem interested in the main battle. Instead, they began to target Earth's defensive infrastructure, striking key military facilities, space stations, and communication arrays. They were smart, calculating, and seemed to have one goal in mind: to disrupt humanity's ability to organize and communicate. This new front sent ripples of panic through Earth's forces. The disruption of communication could fracture the entire resistance effort, rendering humanity's united front useless. Hale knew that Earth's hope of survival hinged not just on military might, but on their ability to coordinate and communicate. If these rogue ships were allowed to tear down Earth's communication grid, the battle would be lost before it had even truly begun. Hale rallied his troops, directing his forces to push back the rogue ships. The fight was brutal. Every vessel, every fighter, every ounce of energy humanity had mustered was focused on taking down the smaller, faster enemy ships. In space, fighters and bombers darted like fireflies, their weapons blazing as they took on the alien invaders. On Earth's surface, the struggle for control over key communication hubs was fierce. Both sides fought for control of the critical infrastructure that would decide the war. The war had become more than just a battle for survival, it had become a battle for identity. Humanity was no longer simply defending a planet, they were defending everything they were, everything they had worked for. And with each passing moment, they proved that their will to fight was stronger than the stars had ever anticipated. In the chaos, Dr. Ward's team made a breakthrough. They discovered a method of amplifying the disruptor's power, increasing its range and effectiveness exponentially. The new, improved disruptors were ready, and they could strike at multiple alien ships in one burst. But the question remained, would it be enough? As Hale and Earth's forces launched their final counterattack, the fate of the planet hung in the balance. Would humanity's ingenuity, its unyielding spirit, be enough to tip the scales in their favor? Or would the stars, with all their power and experience, finally crush the human race beneath their heel? The battle raged on, but there was one certainty: Earth had declared its fight, and it would not surrender. The universe would remember the name of humanity. Part 5. The war was no longer a distant concept, it was all-consuming. The battle between Earth and the stars had taken on a life of its own, every day bringing new challenges, new victories, and new losses. Humanity had proven time and again that it would not be easily defeated, but now, more than ever, Earth was feeling the weight of the struggle. The alien forces, vast and seemingly endless, showed no signs of retreating. But neither would humanity. As the tide of battle swirled, there were moments when the fight seemed too much to bear, when it seemed as though Earth might be overrun, but humanity's resistance was fierce, and in the darkest moments, they found their strength. Captain Marcus Hale's strategic brilliance had been key to every victory, but now he faced a new challenge. The alien fleet, once coordinated, was splintering into smaller, more erratic factions. At first, this gave Hale a glimmer of hope, their unity seemed to be breaking down. But then, the truth became clear. The alien forces were not weakening. Instead, they were adapting, and this adaptation was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Earth's new energy disruptor technology, which had been a game-changer in the earlier battles, had begun to lose its effectiveness. The aliens had countered the weapon by modifying their shields, creating a new defense system that neutralized Earth's attacks. The alien ships grew more unpredictable, their tactics shifting as they sought to outmaneuver and overwhelm humanity's defenses. Hale's team had spent days studying the aliens' new strategy, but it was as if they were always one step ahead. The uncertainty was maddening. Was humanity outmatched? Or was there something more to the aliens' tactics, something beyond their mere technological superiority? Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, the mood was a mixture of determination and desperation. Every day, the population felt the weight of the war. Cities were bombed, civilians were displaced, and yet, the spirit of humanity remained unbroken. People who had never considered themselves warriors were now learning to fight. Earth's citizens were not just surviving, they were standing tall, and they were determined to make sure the stars would remember their name. Dr. Helena Ward, working tirelessly in Earth's science labs, had her own battle to fight. After the aliens adapted to the energy disruptors, she and her team delved into new possibilities. If Earth's weapons couldn't break through the alien ship's shields, then perhaps it was time to turn the table entirely. She began working on a new approach, one that would change the nature of the war. Instead of trying to pierce the shields, Dr. Ward theorized that humanity could manipulate the very fabric of the alien technology, hacking into their systems to disable them from within. It was a long shot. But if there was one thing humanity had learned over the past months, it was that nothing was impossible. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, there was always a chance. The first test of the new strategy came unexpectedly. A small task force of Earth's elite fighters managed to infiltrate a weakened portion of the alien fleet. They had come into contact with one of the alien ships that had sustained significant damage during the early battles. Using the information they had gathered from previous skirmishes, they attempted to hack into the ship's systems. The task force's goal was simple: shut down the alien vessel from within, disabling it before the fleet could reinforce it. The operation was fraught with danger. The alien ship was heavily guarded, and the human forces were vastly outnumbered. Yet, in a stunning act of courage and ingenuity, the task force succeeded. They breached the ship's systems, and for the first time, a human force managed to take control of an alien vessel. The ship was disabled, but its systems had given humanity a valuable prize: an intact alien vessel's core systems. Dr. Ward and her team worked quickly to reverse engineer the technology. The data from the hacked alien ship provided insights into their defense systems, their weapons, and their overall tactics. But there was one detail that stood out above all else. The alien fleet, despite their technological superiority, had vulnerabilities that were not immediately obvious. Their ships relied heavily on a central command structure, one that controlled their shields, their weapons, and their movements. If humanity could sever the connection between these command ships, it would cripple the entire fleet. Hale understood the significance of this discovery. The key to defeating the alien fleet wasn't just about outmatching their technology, it was about disrupting their very command structure. He revised his battle strategies, organizing a joint attack that would target the command ships themselves, isolating them from the rest of the fleet. The operation was massive: coordinated efforts between Earth's military forces, newly integrated space technologies, and civilian engineers who had spent the past months developing new battle strategies. For the first time since the war began, humanity was not simply reacting to the alien invaders, they were going on the offensive. The assault on the command ships came at a pivotal moment. The alien fleet had regrouped and was preparing for what they believed would be the final assault to crush humanity's defenses. They underestimated the resolve of Earth's fighters. Hale's plan was set into motion. Waves of fighters and bombers made their way toward the alien command ships, equipped with newly developed electromagnetic weapons designed to sever their communication networks. The battle was like nothing the universe had ever witnessed. Explosions lit up the sky, the sound of energy weapons colliding filling the air as Earth's forces made their way into the heart of the alien fleet. The command ships, once seemingly invincible, began to falter. Earth's energy disruptors, now refined and modified, began to punch through the alien shields. The first command ship fell, then another, and another. It was the turning point humanity had been waiting for. The alien fleet, once unstoppable, was now in disarray. Their central command had been severed, and they were losing their coordinated advantage. The alien forces tried to regroup, but it was too late. Humanity had seized the initiative. With their command structure shattered, the aliens' once imposing forces were vulnerable. For the first time in the war, Earth's forces could feel the balance tipping in their favor. The stars, which had once seemed so distant, now appeared within reach. Earth was no longer just a small, vulnerable world, they were a force to be reckoned with. The stars had underestimated humanity, and now, they were about to learn the consequences of that mistake. The battle was far from over, but Earth had struck a decisive blow. The war, for the first time, felt winnable. And humanity would fight to ensure that the stars would never again look down on them as anything less than equals. Part 6. The momentum had shifted. After the successful assault on the alien command ships, Earth's forces began to experience the rare sensation of hope. For the first time in the war, they felt that victory was within reach. The alien fleet, once seemingly invincible, was now scrambling to reorganize, their communications disrupted, their once unified forces fractured. Humanity had struck a blow, but they knew the war was far from over. The alien invaders would not surrender easily, and their technological superiority could still tip the scales back in their favor. Captain Marcus Hale, though emboldened by the success, understood the fragile nature of the moment. The aliens, despite their current disarray, would learn quickly from their losses. They would adapt once again, find new ways to fight, and Earth's window of opportunity might close faster than anyone realized. Hale's focus shifted to one thing above all else, the final push to end the war before the alien forces could recover. The key to the next phase of the war lay in understanding the nature of the aliens' technology. Dr. Helena Ward's breakthrough, the reverse-engineered alien ship, had provided invaluable information, but Earth's forces were still piecing together the full extent of what they were up against. Their ability to hack into the alien systems had given them the edge in the short term, but Hale knew that they couldn't rely on stolen technology forever. Humanity needed a new weapon, one that could deliver a decisive blow. In the heart of Earth's primary defense facility, Dr. Ward and her team worked around the clock, synthesizing their newfound knowledge. They developed a new kind of weapon, something entirely unprecedented, a hybrid of alien technology and human ingenuity. The weapon, dubbed the Stellar Hammer, was a massive, energy-based projectile capable of taking down an entire fleet of alien ships in a single strike. But the technology was volatile, and its effectiveness was unproven. It could be their salvation, or it could backfire spectacularly. The Stellar Hammer required a delivery system, a new class of Earth warship, one that could carry the immense power of the weapon and survive the inevitable counterattack from the aliens. Hale's military engineers had worked day and night, constructing the first prototype of the warship, a massive vessel with reinforced shielding, capable of withstanding even the alien fleet's most brutal assaults. This was humanity's most ambitious project yet, and it was their last shot at turning the tide in their favor. But even as they built their new weapon, a new challenge emerged. The alien fleet, while fractured, was not without its own cunning. A new, highly advanced breed of alien vessel had appeared, far smaller but exponentially more dangerous. These ships were equipped with cloaking technology and faster-than-light propulsion systems, making them nearly impossible to track or engage in direct combat. They struck quickly, disappearing into the vast expanse of space before humanity's forces could react. The aliens had adapted once again, and now Earth was facing a more elusive enemy than ever before. The war had become an intricate game of cat and mouse, with Earth's forces struggling to track and combat these new alien ships. It was a race against time. If humanity couldn't neutralize these new threats, their forces would be picked off one by one, until their final defenses were gone. The Stellar Hammer, Earth's last hope, depended on finding a way to defeat these cloaked vessels. Hale called together his top strategists, Dr. Ward included. The strategy session was tense, with urgency in the air. the cloaked ships had proven nearly impossible to detect, but Dr. Ward offered a possible solution. By combining the hybrid alien technology with Earth's most advanced detection systems, she theorized that they could create a device capable of locating the cloaked ships. It would be a gamble, there was no guarantee that the technology would work, but it was their only option. The operation was launched in secret. A small fleet, armed with the experimental detection technology, moved into space to track the elusive alien ships. As they ventured deeper into the void, they encountered the enemy vessels, which attempted to vanish into the darkness. But with Earth's new detection system, they couldn't hide for long. The cloaked ships were revealed, their once unseen forms now visible to humanity's forces. And with that, the counterattack began. A fierce battle erupted in the depths of space. The alien ships fought with precision, striking from all directions, but Earth's forces, now able to track them, fought back with an intensity the aliens had never seen. With each passing moment, the human fleet gained ground. The alien cloaked vessels, once their greatest weapon, were now vulnerable. Amid the chaos, the stellar hammer was launched. The massive warship carrying the weapon made its way to the heart of the alien fleet, cutting through the remnants of the cloaked ships and positioning itself for the final strike. The stellar hammer, with all of Earth's hopes riding on it, was ready to unleash its devastating power. As the warship aligned itself with the alien command center, a tense silence hung in the air. This was it, the moment of truth. The stellar hammer's energy began to build, its core charging with unimaginable force. A single shot. That was all it would take to shift the balance of the war. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath as the weapon was fired. The energy beam shot out, a blinding column of light, and struck the heart of the alien fleet. The explosion was catastrophic. Entire sections of the fleet disintegrated in an instant, and shockwaves rippled through space. The alien command structure, once thought indestructible, was obliterated in a single, decisive blow. The battle was won. Earth had achieved the impossible. But even as Earth's forces celebrated the victory, the truth lingered in the air: the alien invasion was only part of a much larger story. The galaxy was vast, and the stars had seen humanity's power. Now, they knew the truth, that Earth was no longer a fragile, insignificant world in the cosmos. Humanity had proved itself. But the stars, as vast as they were, would not forget the lesson Earth had just taught them. The war had ended, but the story of humanity's place in the galaxy was just beginning. And no one knew what the future held, but one thing was certain: humanity would never again be underestimated. The stars had met their match. And the universe would never forget the day Earth declared war on the stars. Part 7. The war was over, but the aftermath left Earth in a state of uncertainty and reflection. Humanity had emerged victorious, but at what cost? The Earth had suffered greatly during the conflict: cities destroyed, entire populations displaced, and countless lives lost. Yet, in the wake of their triumph, there was a newfound strength in humanity. The battle had tested their resolve, their unity, and their will to survive. They had proven themselves, not only to the stars but to themselves. Captain Marcus Hale stood on the ruins of what was once a thriving metropolis, now reduced to a smoldering wasteland. The victory over the alien invaders was celebrated across the world, but Hale could not escape the weight of the destruction. Every battle, every loss, had been a reminder of the price they had paid. Yet, he also saw something else: a renewed determination. Humanity had shown the universe that they would not bend, that they would not be crushed under the weight of those who deemed them insignificant. The stars had witnessed Earth's strength, and they had learned a hard lesson. Dr. Helena Ward, having played a critical role in the technological breakthroughs that had turned the tide of the war, stood in a lab filled with the debris of alien technology. The remnants of the alien ships, once so advanced, now lay in pieces around her. There was no denying the progress humanity had made, but Dr. Ward could not shake the feeling that this victory was only the beginning. The alien technology they had reverse-engineered and adapted had unlocked new possibilities, possibilities that held both promise and danger. In the days following the war's conclusion, Earth's leaders convened to discuss the future. The council convened in what was once the United Nations headquarters, now a new hub of global cooperation. While humanity had fought a common enemy, the aftermath of the war had exposed divisions among the people of Earth. Some were eager to rebuild, to reclaim what was lost and move forward. Others were wary of the power that had been unlocked through the alien technology. There was a palpable fear that humanity, in its pursuit of advancement, might attract the attention of other, more powerful forces in the galaxy. As Earth began to rebuild, the world's governments worked together to forge new treaties, alliances, and strategies for the future. The war had united the planet in ways that had never been seen before. No longer were nations divided by borders or ideologies. The common enemy had blurred those lines, and now, a unified Earth stood on the brink of a new era. But even as Earth's leaders focused on rebuilding, one question lingered in the minds of all: what would come next? The galaxy was vast, and now that humanity had proven its might, the stars would surely take notice. The galaxy had watched as Earth fought back against the aliens with a resilience that was nothing short of legendary. But there were whispers that the war with the alien invaders was just the beginning. The true power players of the galaxy, the ancient civilizations, the ones who had watched over the cosmos for millennia, would not let Earth's rise go unnoticed. And so, the universe watched as humanity, no longer a naive species, began to step onto the galactic stage. They were not the only sentient beings in the stars, and they were not the most powerful, but they were now a force to be reckoned with. Earth had been tested, and it had survived. But in doing so, humanity had revealed its potential. They were no longer the underdogs in the cosmic arena. They were contenders. Captain Hale, back on Earth, was among those who recognized the significance of this new chapter. The war had been brutal, but it had forged a new understanding of humanity's place in the universe. Hale stood at the helm of Earth's new military command, overseeing the preparation of Earth's next steps into space exploration. He knew that the future held both opportunities and dangers, but one thing was certain: Earth was not alone, and the stars no longer looked down on humanity as something weak. The galaxy had seen what Earth was capable of, and now, humanity would be a part of it. Dr. Ward, too, knew that their victory had consequences. The knowledge humanity had gained from the alien technology was both a gift and a curse. What they had learned could accelerate human advancement to unimaginable heights, but it could also attract the attention of more powerful enemies. The technology humanity now wielded had the potential to reshape the galaxy, for better or worse. There was no going back. In the end, Earth had declared war on the stars, but the stars had learned that Earth would never be an easy conquest. Humanity had not only survived, but they had thrived. They had proven that they could face down impossible odds, that they could adapt and fight when no one thought they stood a chance. They had shown the universe that, while they were small in the grand scheme of the galaxy, they were a force to be reckoned with. The war had ended, but the story of humanity had just begun. As Earth looked to the stars, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that humanity would continue to push forward, to explore, to expand, and to defend their place in the universe. The galaxy would not forget the day Earth declared war on the stars. And humanity, for the first time, was ready for whatever came next. The stars would now know the truth: humanity would never be underestimated again.